Hola, amigos! Brad, the Big Noise Evans here to answer your pressing fantasy football and sports betting questions over the next 30, 40 minutes or so. It's another edition of Bring the Noise. And we already got some NFL action, kind of a surprising result going on across the pond between the Jacksonville Jaguars and uncharacteristic score. They got 11 on the board at halftime, 11-7 lead over Buffalo. Stephon Diggs. Can you Diggs it? Hell yes, I can. With a touchdown toward the end of the half. Zay Jones also found the end zone back from that knee injury, really carving out a pretty sizable red zone role. Seems to be trustworthy of Wall Trevor Lawrence in those situations. So 11-7. Jacksonville over Buffalo as we speak. Stephon Diggs just under 40 yards. Again, with that clutch 15-yard touchdown from the hand of Josh Allen. I'm going to be here again for the next 30, 40 minutes or so. There are three different ways you can get a hold of me if you have a pressing fantasy need, or maybe you have a sports bet you would like to share with the group. Do so via the Facebook at Yahoo Noise, on Twitch at Big Noise 78, or on YouTube on Fade the Noise. Those are three different ways best to contact me, communicate with me directly. Already comments rolling in right now. If you're on the X, I'm giving it to you, but just an animated picture and sound. I can't see or filter any of your questions or comments into the StreamYard broadcast, unfortunately. Come on, Elon. Give me some versatility. Give me some flexibility. Allow other programs to play and play fairly, but he doesn't operate that way. Before I get to your questions here ahead of NFL Week 5 and that main slate, let me recap my top three picks. And a couple of these already featured on the Feed the Noise broadcast. And if you watch the podcast or listen to it, please do so. If you don't, you can subscribe right here on this channel on YouTube, at the Feed That Always channel, or wherever you download and get your podcast. Also, just a friendly reminder, too, Tank Williams and I at the top of the hour. So at noon Eastern time, we are taking to the Bleacher Report app, another Sunday sports spectacular. More of your questions, if it doesn't get answered here, and your comments on that broadcast. And we're going game by game, our favorite boom, bust, or bank pick. So if you're into the player props market, if you're in, of course, the fantasy football, watch Tank Williams and I rejoining forces like we did back in the day on Yahoo's Fantasy Football Live. Again, starting at noon Eastern time on the BR app. And you got to download that sucker to find us there. So I hope you tune in for that stream. All right. Let's go ahead and get after it with three player props I'm very high on today. Numero tres, Joshua Dobbs. Guy is an aerospace engineer. How dare I fade him and his smartness? Give me the 25-plus rush yards against Cincinnati on the alt threshold market available at DraftKings. This was plus 105 as of earlier today. I know that juice has been shrinking as the standard rush yards prop has been climbing, but I think he's going to run for at least 25 yards. A guy that's averaged 6.0 attempts per game on the ground this season. Last three games, 41, 55, and 48 yards he's scampered for. And to get the Bengals, we've been so sorrowful, so uncharacteristically just piss poor pretty much in every facet, especially defensively. Number 26 in EPA rush D on the season. Deshaun Watson, scoring duelist, went for 45 early this year against them. Lamar Jackson, another premier scoring duelist, went for 54. So I think Joshua Dobbs down there in the desert, in the Sonoran, is going to be, so tasty like a prickly pear margarita. And we bet on this. I think it's going to go down smoothly. 25 or more rush yards for him against the visiting Bengals. Numero dos here among my favorite player props here on this NFL Sunday. And dare I say, he's almost must-start material in fantasy football as well. Dance Hall Days. Oh, yeah, baby. Crank the Wank Chung are certainly back. I like Brees Hall quite a bit. 60.5 rush yards, and we've seen the juice climb on this as well. It was a plus money for much of the week, so you've got in early on this market. Well done. Very nice closing line value there. We've also seen a little bit of a surge in the number as a whole, but right now, minus 115 at BetMGM Live. At least last I checked, that could still be climbing. I think Brees Hall is going to have himself a game. Robert Saleh came out and said, hey, no more restrictions. We're taking the kid gloves off on Brees Hall, and we're going to let him go. Dalvin Cook is deep fried. He has done some of the side of hot sauce. He has looked just terrible here through the first 4 weeks of the regular season. Hall, meanwhile, when he's been given opportunities, has shown some serious juice. It's evidenced by his number 2 ranking in yards after contact per attempt is tracked by Pro Football Focus, 6.16 in that category. Devin Achane is the only guy he is trailing in that category this season. Also forced Hall a missed tackle 21.9% of the time. He's seen 45.7% of the opportunity share, and I think the script is going to flip. I think it's going to be more like 55 to 60 for him, and Dalvin Cook getting a leftover scraps. And you look at the matchup, my God, it is wonderful. It is arousing, no question about it. The Denver Broncos, number 31 EPA rush defense, a laughingstock right now. They've allowed 5.84 yards per carry, 153.3 just rush yards per game to running backs, along with 11 touchdowns. I also took call, truth be told, on anytime score at plus 140. If you wanted to go with a Brees Hall, maybe combined rushing and receiving yards, I don't hate that at all. I think Brees Hall is going to have himself a day. Dare I say, a top 10 fantasy day. That's what I'm saying. Flirtations with must-start material jogging through the mind right now. You got to take advantage of the matchup. As I always say, maximize the matchup. Hall should have a breakout here week number 5. And then meanwhile, of course, it's mandatory Montgomery. Give the flesh for fantasy. Billy Idol in the background for the old fans of the Sirius XM show. Mandatory Montgomery. I featured this on the Fade 5 pod yesterday, but it wasn't this bet specifically. I said on that broadcast, give me him for an anytime touchdown and the Lions on the money line, a little SGP. And then I boosted it with a DraftKings odds boost that was available, and I got it plus 120. Well, that's out the window now because Jahmyr Gibbs ain't going to play. And with Gibbs out, he had that hamstring tweak late in practice on Friday. I think Montgomery is going to be a certifiable Clydesdale, an absolute workhorse. He is going to pull the beer cart, and we're all going to celebrate here in the end. So I think the best value still available on a Montgomery bet is not on anytime score, it's on rush attempts. I'm taking the over 18.5. Last checked about an hour and a half ago. It was minus 130 at DraftKings. Honestly, this number should be a little bit higher. It should be at like 19.5, maybe 20.5. with a heavier juice of like minus 150 to minus 170. So I still think there's some value here. I mean, you saw what he did against the Packers. He's had some extended rest. This could be another like 25 to 30 carry game. And I know all the haters out there is like, oh, mandatory Montgomery, he sucks, Brad. It's a tired bit. You're terrible at your job. He's so terribly inefficient. Well, ignore the yards per carry. Because that is just a superficial number. There are other advanced analytics that point in a very different direction. Yeah, he's got the 2.72 yards after contact per attempt. Not the greatest number in that category, but he is numero dos among all running backs in the National Football League in total missed tackles forced with 16 so far this season. He usually gets around 63% of the opportunity share. That's going to skyrocket today. It could be 75, 80%. Couple of sprinklings here and there, maybe of Craig Reynolds. But, you talk about the mother of all matchups and maximizing those matchups. The Carolina Panthers are dead last. They're worse than the Broncos. They're worse than the Chicago Bears. And rush EPA defense, it's rather astonishing how bad they've been. They've got a 4.94 yards per carry, 7 total touchdowns running back position. Montgomery has 18 red zone touches. It's the 4th most of any running back in the NFL so far this season, running behind, I feel, easily a top 10 offensive line with Amon-Ra St. Brown also out, which means he'll get even more work. And I kind of like Josh Reynolds as a sleeper shocker special appeal there. For those of you in deeper leagues, 12-team or deeper leagues, the wide receiver 3, we do have 4 teams on bye. Remember, no Cleveland, LA Chargers, Seattle, and Tampa on a 1-week siesta. But Mandatory Montgomery, I ranked number 1 among all running backs this week. Yeah, call me biased. Call me a fanboy. I don't give a crap. He is going to get the volume. He's going to dominate the goal line touches. And I think the Lions are going to take advantage of a meek and not so mighty Carolina Panthers run defense. So that is my number 1 play on the board. And it's not SGP. I forgot to delete that from yesterday. It's just Mandatory Montgomery over 18.5 rush attempts. Minus 130 there at DraftKings. All right, with that out of the way, again, just a friendly reminder, submit your questions via the 3 different ways. I got listed right there on the screen via Facebook, Yahoo Noise, Twitch, a Big Noise 78, or on the YouTube and the Fade the Noise channel. And again, but wait, there's more of this jackass along with Tank Williams. Watch this ear-piecing dolt and former NFL safety, hard-hitting safety, and one of my best buddies, Tank Williams, on the Bleacher Report app starting at noon Eastern. Make sure you download that and also watch live online Monday through Friday at watchstadium.com/live or on the Bally Sports RSNs. It's sports betting. It's an hour long. We've got oodles of picks in every single episode. Myself, Danny Kluppinger, Cameron Smith, Tank makes appearances weekly. Fun buns we have on every single Friday as well. So getting the band back together, so to speak, on the show that I created, IEP, and I co-star on. So please tune in to Live on the Line Monday through Friday on Stadium and on the Bally Sports RSNs. Again, starting at noon Eastern. All right. Let's go to the first out of the box with John Redinger. Holy crap, John's got a long question. I'm screwed this week. Well, that's an ominous start. Half my team is hurt. Yeah, I feel your pain. I'm starting the Ravens defense, and I need a running back and a PPR. So, Warren, Algier, he says he's screwed again. I'm starting the Ravens defense again. Yes, Warren Algier. I think he just, he might already be drunk. He's trying to numb the pain already this morning. So it's Jalen Warren or Tyler Algier. In a PPR, you go with Warren. I think Warren's going to catch probably 3-4 balls. He's been heavily targeted. Kenny Pickett is expected to start despite his injury scare last week. And you look at the matchup, yeah, it's Baltimore. It's probably going to be an ugly, dark cloud hanging over the stadium kind of game. But I think Warren, who's been, slowly eating away at that opportunity share from Najee Harris, as I've said before, just watching the tape, man, he's got more juice in the legs and is a more reliable receiver. So give me Warren over Tyler Algier. Good luck to you, John. Corey says, hola to you. Hurst, Conklin, Jonnu Smith, Musgrave, a whole lot of crap there. Flex Breida, Wilson, or Rice. I'm going to go with Wilson at wide receiver there or in the flex position for you. The Arizona Cardinals, the Stanford standout. Hey, Tank, Stanford's actually doing something. At least they're producing a decent NFL player there. I'll go with Wilson, who's really stood out to me here in recent weeks and a player that's going to continue to get starter reps moving forward. And he's got the trust of Dobbs. And then a tight end. I'd probably go Musgrave, honestly, and try to maximize that matchup on the primetime affair tomorrow night in Viva Las Vegas. Kirk says half point PPR, McLaughlin or Matt Breida. Matt Breida is not the answer. The Giants are playing Miami. I know Miami you can take advantage of in the trenches, but they're going to get their asses kicked in this game, right? They're going to lose 40-0, 50-0, maybe 50-7, maybe garbage time applies to Breida here. The game script is going to get wildly out of control, in my opinion. I'm going to go with McLaughlin against the Jets. The Jets have shown some exploitability, some vulnerability defending the run. And according to local reports, people I know and trust in that market, because I lived there for 7 years, they've said that McLaughlin is going to see a ramped up workload. And Javonte Williams, he said he's going to go out there and warm ups and see how he goes with that hip flexor. Could be out or extremely limited. So I think McLaughlin's going to play a factor no matter if Javonte is in or if he is out today. I don't know why that came back up, but Jimmy says Ertz or Waller. Golf or Dak? Give me golf or Dak. Give me golf. Sly Evans over Dak. And difficult matchup there against the Niners. Somewhat difficult matchup, I should say. You can beat him on the back end defensively, and I can explain that more detail if a Michael Gallup question comes up. Ertz or Waller? I'm going to go Waller. Again, given the massive deficit the Giants could be dealing with in that game, one would surmise, one would think that Waller's going to see a sizable target share. You would hope. Hola from DJ. Hola to you, sir. Matthew Spears, P. Ryan, or Akers. Ugh. So you're trying to muster, what, 6 fantasy points out of one of these guys? I'm going to go with Tajay Spears. Slide advantage of the other 2 stiffs. Ben says, have Mark Andrews and Laporta and it one tight end, no flex. Leaning Laporta today with Amon-Ra out. Yeah, I kind of lean that direction as well. And it may shock some people. Like, Mark Andrews. I'm not a names must start. Hey, always start your studs kind of guy. Is Mark Andrews really a stud? I think it's debatable. I really do. Laporta has played extraordinarily well. He's going to be leaned on heavily. This could be a 7, 8, 9 target kind of game, in my opinion. So, yeah, take advantage, man, with no Amon-Ra on the rookie from the University of Iowa, a.k.a. Andy Behrens. Coda says, need to sit one. Zay Flowers, Mostert, or Achan. It is not Achan. I wrote about him as my sledgehammer special. Daddy one, Daddy D, Daddy gotta have it. Yeah, I wrote that. Check it out at Noisy Cuevas on the X. If you like long, flowery language and a lengthy explanation on why I think he is going to exceed 55.5 rush yards that his prop is available on right now at BetMGM. Mostert playing second fiddle clearly. That's the guy I would sit is Mostert. I mean, maybe he gets a touchdown. Knowing that the Giants are going to be playing from behind in that one, but I like to diversify the portfolio, the Bonzio, Wu-Tang Financial. So go Zay Flowers and Achan there, Coda. Hockey Nut, hola mega, hola to you. Full point PPR, Burrow or Cousins. PPR really doesn't apply to quarterbacks unless they're catching their own passes. Also need one. I go Cousins over Burrow, by the way. Mixon, Hollywood, Brown, Mostert, Jacoby, or Nico Collins. Oh, man, all excellent options there. It's honestly between the last 2, Jacoby or Nico. I slightly into Nico, but Jacoby Myers, if Devontae Adams sits, oh my goodness, he could have himself a night on Monday. Chris Caseta says, Burrow or Dobbs? I'm going Dobbs. I just don't trust Burrow and the soft tissue issues he's been experiencing with that calf, and it's been nettlesome and bothersome for weeks now, a couple of months now. Scott says, hello, amiga. Best of luck on your endeavors. Muchas gracias. Need to flex after losing Amon-Ra St. Brown, Metcalf on bye, Rashee Rice, or Khalif Raymond. I'm going to go with Rice. Raymond's kind of sneaky. I picked him up in Scott Fish because I was desperate, and I'm playing him. But outside of that, I think Rice could have himself a 4 to 5 catch kind of game. A guy that's been targeted frequently inside the red zone. And you already got Mahomes. That's a fantastic, stack. So, although, with the super flex, you also have golf. But I go the Mahomes stack and Rice, who should taste quite delicious for you. Caleb says, rough bye week, 0.5 PPR. Josh Reynolds or Breida? Breida's not the answer. Not a game that's going to go sideways to the Giants. I think it'll be a miracle for them to be competitive, quite honestly. So give me Josh Reynolds. CC says, hola, tight end woes. Keep Jonnu or drop for Conklin or Logan Thomas. I drop for Logan Thomas, who's really impressive against my Chicago Bears on Thursday. What's your long-term diagnosis of the Ravens backfield? Look, it's got to be a committee. And the guy that's going to be the player you want in that committee is Gus Edwards. That's my strong opinion that, should I hold on to Keaton Mitchell? What's Keaton Mitchell shown so far? I mean, really? I know there's been some rumblings, but until I kind of see something, I'd rather go bird in hand, and that bird in hand being, say, a Gus Edwards in that backfield, primarily getting all the goal line work, and that's the key. He's splitting, of course, with Lamar Jackson. So touchdowns for everything, and that upside far greater than what Keaton Mitchell could bring to the table. Ryan says a PPR flex, Zach Ertz or Jaleel McLaughlin. If Javonte Williams doesn't play, it's the running back. McLaughlin, again, he has got some scoot in those boots, and they are giving him the rock more for a reason. And, he's a guy that can catch some balls cleanly out of the backfield as well. Yeah, I like him quite a bit, actually. Kirk says half point PPR, Breida or McLaughlin. It's McLaughlin. Need two receivers. It's real ugly. London, Reynolds, Judy, Rice, Raymond. I probably still go with Drake London. Always a threat in the red zone. I go with Josh Reynolds with the other one. Quite honestly. Tosh says, any deep wide receivers you like? No Amon-Ra, Higgins, or Amari Cooper. Well, it's not really all that deep, but it's Josh Reynolds. Immediately comes to mind. Now, I'm going to throw out another name. Justin Watson of the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the highest average depth of targets in the NFL, had a decent little run first 3 weeks of the season, took a step back against the Jets because they put a cap on the secondary down the field, so he didn't really accumulate a sizable gain. But there's going to be a deep shot or three taken by Mahomes, I believe, in that matchup against Minnesota, and we know how bad that secondary has played. So I think every single DB has given up at least 110 passer rating to their assignments and that Minnesota secondary so far this season. So Justin Watson, to me, is a real deep Rip Van Winkle if you're desperate and looking for that Hail Mary heave. Steve says, Amigo and a PPR. Do I play Breida? God, a lot of Breida questions. Barkley's not going to play. Or with Jaleel. Go with Jaleel. Okay, listen, folks. If you have Matt Breida, you have at least a decent option that, he could replace him with. And that option has a pulse. It's beating. They're alive. They have a heartbeat. You're playing them over Matt Breida. Game script, I think, is going to get wildly out of control. That does not benefit him. Maybe as a pass catcher, you could argue, sure, okay. Maybe gets like 2 to 3 receptions in that contest, but he ain't going to do a whole lot on the ground unless it's like on the first drive of the game. So I'm going to go with McLaughlin. Definitely a more suitable replacement than Matt Breida is with Barkley out. Kanan says, hey, Brad, pick 2 PPR. JT. Oh, yeah, Jonathan Taylor was fascinating today. Najee, Warren, or Tank Dell. I still go with Jonathan Taylor. Interestingly, his player prop opened at BetMGM at 46.5 rush yards. I'm really curious to see how much work he's going to get. My guess, and again, I don't know. I'm not on a coaching staff. I have no freaking idea. I'm going to say 12 to 15 touches. And it's a difficult matchup. Tennessee Titans with the best run defenses in the league. So you say, okay, if I get 12 to 15 touches in a terrible matchup from Jonathan Taylor, is it worth the dice roll? Maybe one of those touches at the goal line. Sure, Anthony Richardson could poach him at the goal line, but having a scoring duelist under center opens some things up in the ground game as well. So I take my chances, impress my luck with Jonathan Taylor, and I'm going to go with Warren or Tank Dell. I go Tank Dell for number 2. Dandy says, hey, Brad, PPR flex, McLaughlin or Alexander Madison? I will go McLaughlin. I don't trust anything in that Minnesota backfield right now either. So Kanana just answered that. Steve, I believe, this is a different question. PPR league, I need a running back and a flex. Here are my choices. Najee, Gainwell, Jameson Williams, who's going to be on a snap count. Kendrick Bourne, who's really interesting. He is definitely going to be in the flex. I go Najee and Kendrick Bourne, please, and thank you. Uno Mas from CC. Standard flex, should I bench Madison for wide receivers? Jaden Reed, Barrios, or Arizona's Wilson? No, I mean, Wilson's the other guy with a debate. Reed's kind of interesting because the matchup is dynamite against Vegas, but I would still roll Madison out of that group. Joe says PPR, Akers, Hurst, or Bourne. You need an Amon-Ra replacement. It's Kendrick Bourne for me. Steve says, hola, amigo. Faith in Javonte later today. I don't know. I'm not a team doctor. I have no idea. He's going to warm up, and we'll find out. So if you have a suitable replacement, I think you play that suitable replacement. You can't risk the donut. Start Woods. I think I start Woods. And how was the Sphere in Vegas? Outstanding. Highly recommended. Utterly ridiculous. The visualization was, stimulating for multiple hours on end. I did not pop a gummy. I sorely regret not popping a gummy. But if you go pop a gummy, if you can handle such things, sit back and just take in the show. YouTube was dynamite as always. And again, the visuals were just breathtaking. Matt says Tank Dell or Michael Wilson at a PPR. Michael Wilson slide edge. Really good question there. I think it's a lucky 7 situation. Really can't lose with either. Kirk Cousins or Anthony Richardson. It's Kirk Cousins for me. A game with a lot of pew, 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 shoot out appeal. J Red says, hola, amigo. The Bears screwed me in my elimination pool. They screwed all of us. But I'm glad they won one for Dick Buckus, unlike my Illini, who laid an egg. They can't even tank the right way. No, they really can't, but they did it for Buckus. And, rest in peace, one of the all-time greats, not only the Chicago Bears, but my University of Illinois Fighting Illini, who should be banished from the Big Ten. They're so bad right now. Matt Barrio says, hola, Senior Brett. Hola to you. Need to McLaughlin in Burita, Algier, Rice, Addison, or Reynolds. Reynolds is the other one. I go with those two. Adams is Pacheco or Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, another dice roll because of the injury. No guarantee plays. Monday night game. Go with bird in hand. Isaiah Pacheco. I probably play Pacheco anyway ahead of him. Hola from Aubrey. Ramondre Jacoby Myers. Stevenson not healthy either. And losing some work right now in that backfield. Chris Olave or Jerry. Oh, come on, man. Don't get too cute, Chris. You're playing the other Chris, Olave. Audrin says, am I crazy to start Jalen Warner over Ramondre Stevenson? Not at all. I feel like the Cedars will be a negative game scrimmage will benefit Warren. You're already, justifying your position. I say lean into that justification. Dub Season says, pick 2 for my flex. Michael Wilson, Drake London, Westbrook Akine, Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson is in. Really been under the radar good here lately for the Dallas Cowboys. And it'll give you a reason to watch Sunday Night Football. And then I go, probably Michael Wilson. I say roll the dice over Drake London. Ad Rock says, oh, let me go, let you. Cue the Billy Idol in Detroit today. Dude, again, mandatory Montgomery. Daddy won. Daddy need. Daddy gotta have it. I ranked him number 1 among all running backs. And he'd be like, oh, you're sick in the men in the head, Evans. You're crazy. Get off your rocker. Get off his jock. Well, look, he's kind of the lone man standing in that backfield. He's going to get at least, I think, 80% of the work. It could be a 30-carry game. That's not remotely outlandish to think. And he's facing the worst run defense in terms of EPA rush value. Period. Exclamation point. Exclamation point again. You're playing mandatory Montgomery. Dobbs or Burrow. Again, I'm going to go healthy guy here and Joshua Dobbs. I think could be another 20 fantasy point kind of effort for him. Connor or Montgomery. Mandatory Montgomery, man. And it's no diss on James Conner. I got some props out on him that I wagered on. Anytime touchdown, for example. Both those guys could have banner weeks. J-Red, my daughter says, Daddy want, Daddy, that's your friend, says Daddy wants, Daddy need, Daddy's got to have it. Can you say it for her, please? Well, I'm a man of the people, children included. So obviously, if you want to hear it, yeah, I'll do it with my friend in hand. Daddy want, Daddy need, Daddy gotta have it. I am sledgehammering everything. Mandatory Montgomery. There you go, J Red. Enjoy it, kid. Christopher says Burrow, Goff, Stroud, 2-quarterback league. Which ones? Stroud's in, man. Stroud's setting records. Most passing yards in NFL history through the first 4 weeks of, rookie season. Besting Andrew Luck. Captain Andrew Luck. Come on, man. You beat a officer, a high-ranking officer in the American Civil War for a record. I mean, you got to play him. Oh, this just in. Josh Reynolds and Jameson Williams are both active today. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown officially inactive today for Detroit. So I'm going to go Goff and Stroud. Answer your question there, Christopher. Nerdcost. Hola, amigo. Hola, you. Half point PBR, Ramondre Stevenson or McLaughlin. Again, I'm going to roll dice with McLaughlin. I really like him today. Adam says Pacheco or Adam Jones. I already answered that one. I got to go bird in hand. It's Pacheco. Ayuk or Pittman from Christopher. Hola, amigo, and gracias, amigo. Yeah, I'm going to go Michael Pittman. Look, it can't run on the Tennessee Titans. And it's going to get a lot of Christian Fulton coverage. He's only given up a 143.9 passer rating and 76.9 catch rate to his assignments. I did take a wager on Pittman over 5.5 receptions at plus money yesterday because I was enticed by the mano a mano matchup there on paper. Matt says, Chris Olave, ankle injury. Should I? No, you're not pivoting Wandale. You're good with Chris Olave. Unless, they went full Civil War action and like sawed off his leg. Yeah, you're playing Chris Olave. Connor or Montgomery? I love both of them, but it's mandatory, my man. Kavan says, Ola Brown, I need 1.5 point PPR. Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, or Puka Nacua. Oh, Nacua is interesting. With Cooper Kupp back, it doesn't sound like there's going to be a whole lot of restrictions with Cooper Kupp. So I kind of wait and see, especially if you have excellent alternatives, and you do. I like Garrett Wilson. And here's the reason why I like Garrett Wilson. Got to get a lot of Tamari Mathis in coverage. The Broncos are giving up 9.45 pass yards per attempt. Mathis is a lot, 154.2 pass rate, and 88% catch rate to his assignments. And the expectation and the projection is it's not going to be Surtain as much as it will be Mathis that'll try to shadow or attempt to corral Garrett Wilson. Jonathan says, hey, Brad, I hope all is good. Yeah, everything's good in my hood. Running back and non-PPR out of 3, Warren, Akers, Ronnie Rivers. It is Warren for me. Jason says, can't believe I have to ask this, but Josh Reynolds or Michael Wilson? I'm going to go Josh Reynolds. Slight advantage there. Again, just got an alert on my phone that he is indeed active today. Rondale, it's not Rondale, more that plays for the Arizona Cardinals, former Purdue great. Sutton or Williams, and Jay Williams, is Javonte, is Jameson, either one, you can't play him given the likely limitations. Give me Cortland Sutton, who sticks out like a sore thumb inside the red zone for one Russell Wilson. Jimmy says, Wanda Robinson, Tony, or Raymond. I'll go with Wandale. I think it's going to be a 5 to 6, maybe 7 catch kind of game for him today. Though low yardage output could be like a Zay Flowers performance a couple of weeks ago, like 8 for 40 something. Last one, it's a rough one with Barkley, Gibbs out, and Ford on bye. So McKinnon, Singletary, or Brightwell. I got to go McKinnon. Revenge game? Yeah, revenge game against the Vikes. Why the hell not, man? He'll probably be featured a sprinkling amount of times, peppered in there, and likely inside the red zone. Could catch a pass and scamper on in. Well, I have exhausted all of your questions. Here on the Bring the Noise AMA. Don't forget, there's going to be more of me alongside Tank Williams, all of our hot takes, game by game, every single remaining Sunday matchup. Watch us on the Bleacher Report app starting at noon Eastern, like 23 minutes from now. We're going to be tackling more of your questions and give you our favorite boom, bank, or bust selections in every single game remaining. So tune into that. It's simple. Just download the BR app on your phone and you can pull us up. I mean, easy peasy, man. Also watch Live and Line Monday through Friday starting at noon Eastern time on the Valley Sports Regional Sports Networks, and also on Stadium. You can stream it for free at watchstadium.com/live, watchstadium.com/live. Best of luck to all of you in week numero 5. And can we get some more scoring in the stupid Jags-Bills game? Until next time, adios, amigos!